There are a million ways to skin a cat and just as many ways to build a winner in the NFL. The Las Vegas Raiders can go about it a few different ways this offseason. However they go about it will depend largely on who's the quarterback. If the Raiders go with Jarrett Stidham and or draft the quarterback, they'll have all kinds of money to spend on the defense and offensive line and free agency. If the Raiders go with Jimmy Garoppolo, they'll have a lot less to spend and still have to draft the quarterback early because Garoppolo isn't a lock to make it past week 6. Signing Aaron Rodgers will leave the team even less to spend in free agency, but the Raiders can focus on players that can make an immediate impact as Rodgers is a win-now move. This wish list is based on Rodgers being the Raiders quarterback. The first thing the Raiders need to do is bring back the players that need to be brought back, and interior defensive lineman Jerry Tillery is one of them. He had a profound impact on the defense when he came over in Week 9. When he got there, the Raiders were giving up 25.1 points per game, and over his first 6 weeks, they gave up only 20.5 points per game. They went 4-2 down that stretch. The injuries took their toll on the Raider defense, and they lost the last 2 games, giving up 34 points per game. Tillery had no control over that. Another defensive lineman that definitely needs to be brought back is Andrew Billings. The new regime did a good job bringing him over. He's a space eater that soaks up blocks in the run game so his linebackers can run to the ball. He also has some surprising quickness off the ball that allows him to get into the backfield and make plays. And that surprising quickness off the ball combined with that bulldozing power makes him a pretty good pass rusher for a nose tackle. So he can bring that heat up the middle when the Raiders are in their base defense. Corner Rock Ya-Sin was another good find and bring over the new regime made. His length and strength from his wrestling background makes him an elite press man corner. Not an elite corner, not even an elite man coverage corner, but an elite press man corner. That is defensive coordinator Patrick Graham's preferred coverage scheme, so that's good for the Raiders. The Raiders didn't give up 100 yards to an outside receiver until week 17, and Ya-Sin had been out since week 13 with a knee injury. So if he's healthy, you gotta bring him back. The Raiders definitely need to bring back offensive lineman Jermaine Illuminor. Illuminor is the Raiders' most valuable offensive lineman because he can play any position except for center. He did a good job at right tackle after holding off 7th round pick Theron Munford, my pick for the job. That competition went all the way to week 6. The Raiders love Munford and he's going to make that jump to year 2, so I expect him to start at right tackle next year. And the 6'4", 340-pound Illuminor can kick inside the guard where he can be great and maybe block Chris Jones. The Raiders need to bring some old friends back too, and the interior defensive lineman Darius Philon is one of them. The same way running back Josh Jacobs sparked the offense down the stretch in 2021 to make the playoffs, Philon did that for the defense. He played like a madman, especially in that final game against the Chargers. But unfortunately he popped his patella tendon and didn't end up playing at all last year. The Raiders' new regime did have him in for a visit though. They need to revisit that visit because he can really help the interior pass rush. Another guy that shouldn't have been allowed to leave is linebacker Nicholas Morrow. The new regime regrets it, so much so they tried to trade for him at the trade deadline. What's not to like? He can play the run, he can rush the passer, he can cover. He can play all 4 linebacker spots. He's the kind of guy the new regime loves, but they missed him. That's why sometimes I wonder if the new regime even bothered to watch any tape of 2021. He should not have gotten away to the Chicago Bears. The new regime needs to bring him back. Quarterback Lamar Jackson's franchise tag is going to take up a whole lot of the Baltimore Ravens salary cap. Then after that, they have corners Marcus Peters and Kyle Fuller. What will the Ravens have left for guard Ben Powers? Powers was excellent in pass protection last year. He had a down year in run blocking, but that's nothing offensive line coach Carmen Bricio can't fix. Powers is 6'4", 340 pounds, so the Raiders should get him so they can have someone for Jones on both sides. This one's pretty hard because there are some mocks out there that have linebacker Trenton Simpson going in the 1st round, and there are others that have him going in the 2nd or 3rd round. You never know with linebackers, just like you never know with running backs. The prospects are going to separate themselves from each other soon, so for right now, I'm going to go ahead and wish that the Raiders take Simpson in the 2nd round. The 6'3", 240-pounder is supposed to run in the 4.4s, and he can play the run, cover, and rush the passer, so he'd be a welcome addition to this Raider defense, because Denzel Perryman can't stay healthy. Remember, building your team through the draft isn't just about drafting players. It's about drafting and developing players. And the Raiders would really have something if they draft Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. At 6'2", 200 pounds, Gonzalez is a blazer, a track athlete with elite speed, and with it, He has fluid hips that flip faster than the blink of an eye. With that, he has long arms so he can get his hands on receivers and press man. Like I said earlier, as well as in other videos, defensive coordinator Patrick Graham loves his press man coverage, so he hired Jason Simmons, who specializes in teaching his corners proper press man technique. When you put a corner like Gonzalez that's made for press man with a defensive coordinator like Graham and a secondary coach like Simmons, you have the perfect fit. And when you have the perfect fit, the player is developed well and he reaches his potential. And if Gonzalez reaches anything close to his potential with the size and athleticism he has, he's going to be a star. So I really hope this is the pick the Raiders make at number 7 overall. This offseason wish list is based on Rodgers being the quarterback of the Raiders. Is he going to pick the dark side after being in darkness for 4 days? Well, if he does, the Raiders can't just spend big on big names on other positions in free agency. They're going to have to take a little more humble approach with guys that can play but just don't have a whole lot of star power. Then in the draft, the Raiders need to get their big dogs for the defense. As hard as it is to predict where linebackers go in the draft, I'm going to go ahead and wish for Simpson in the 2nd round. And in the 1st round, I love that Gonzalez kid. Thank you for watching. See you next time.